All right, Christmas fans, it is October 20th, and as you know, I'm in a hotel. I'm spending weeks, all the weekdays in a hotel, and really need to try to utilize this extra downtime that I have in doing Christmas programming because I have to program all my songs new. And I have just completed Charlie Brown Christmas song, so I am running or programming this on the demo version of Lightorama, so it has limited some of my abilities to use some tools to use. But for the most part, I've got a good solid. I can run this show. This song is ready to go. Now, once I get all my other songs done, I might come back and customize this and make it a little bit more detailed or custom. But right now, it is good. I've just saved it and we got one song down. I've started a lot of the other ones, but I haven't done much to them. But I've got one down. I don't know what my how many songs I'm gonna have this year, but at least I can safely say that I have one song ready to go. So I'm gonna move on. It's about 8:45. I'm gonna move on, start the next song. I don't know what song that's gonna be, but I'm gonna go ahead and start the next one and hopefully get a good start on that. But this weekend we will start putting up Christmas lights, and yeah, you'll start. You'll see that in this video because I'm probably just going to combine it all in one. So appreciate your patience, and but we're going to be getting started here really soon. So anyway,
Right out. Anyway, today we are going to be installing our tower. Not sure if I'm going to bring it all the way up today, but I'm going to get the base in, probably get the first 20 feet up. And it is right there. But first we have to figure out exactly where we're going to be putting it. It's going to be freestanding. I've decided to make it freestanding. I'm going to guide it down. And we put it in the front yard. I'm thinking about right here would be a good spot for it. This is to be closer to the road, which will be more impressive. It'll look a little bit better. Just got to do some measurement to make sure that the bottom ring, won't be into the neighbor's yard. Which I think this will be about right where that stake is. I think that'll be good. So I'll take some measurements, make sure that that'll be good, and start digging. Fun. Hey Joby, you my helper today?
Yeah.
Well, what we're doing is here's where we're gonna put the tower, and we're going up. I don't know how many feet, but we're doing 8 rings. Okay, rounds and circles, all the way up. The top ring is going to be, or the bottom ring is going to be 16 feet wide, so 8 from center. All right, this is 8 feet to the property line, so that'll be good. And then every ring up is going to be 2 feet smaller, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. I've already got my supply list of PVC that I'm going to need and couplers. And what we're going to do now, it's important that we know exactly what we're going to build before we start to build it. So since we know what we're going to build, all we have to do now is dig a hole for our tower to go in. Alright.
I need a shovel too.
Why don't you go grab a shovel? Good. Hold on a second, okay? Try not to hit me with a shovel. I'm going to put it down a little deeper this year than I did last year. I'm not concerned too much with going so high this year. I'm just concerned with it being sturdy. When we put our tower up for Christmas, we don't put it in concrete because it's a temporary fixture. So we rely on guide wires and ropes and dirt to hold it. So let's get this hole dug. Just went ahead and dug a hole. Hopefully it'll be big enough for the tower section. We'll find out in just a minute. 16 inches deep.
Our arrow.
You're building the arrow?
Yeah, they're building an arrow.
Cool.
Our arrow.
So I'm putting it down 16 inches deep. Common sense tells you, I didn't mention, but when you're digging a hole, make sure you try to locate any wires and pipes, right? Because you don't want to cut your wires, you don't want to cut your pipes, make yourself a bigger job than it has to be. So I do have a sprinkler system, but I did locate those before I started digging, and there's no service wires or electrical or anything that I need to worry about here on this part of the yard. So, but if 16 inches deep, you will start hitting wires and pipes. So just make sure you check that. Let's go get the tower. So this tower has seen better days. How I have got it set up is these two sections here. You got a 10-foot section, another 10-foot section. Because the tower is so old, and the year that they fell down, it kind of bent and tweaked a little. These two sections cannot come apart. So I have to keep them together, but they're always my two bottom sections. So this will be going into the ground over here, and I'll have to cut this off, but this goes up in the air, obviously. And then we've got another bottom section, full bottom section, another full bottom section, I believe, right here. Okay, and then we've got our top section here. Now this piece here is a top section attached to a short bottom section that's been cut off. So I can't use this bottom section on top of any other section because it's been cut off. So in essence, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 50 foot of tower here that I can go up. And I did have 60 foot, but once the tower collapsed that one year, it killed one piece of the section. So, like I said, first section here, first step would be to just go ahead and get this down and in the ground. We're going to go ahead and carry this out and set it up, level it, and then once we get that, we can start climbing and stacking. So. Up and now I'm going to keep in mind where we're going to guide this down, and in all honesty, we should be going to have to guide it down more than 8 feet out. So this flat part should be facing the property line to give us a little bit more room. So I'm going to just spin it like this. This way when we come down from this angle down, I'll have more than 8 feet out. And then this can go down into our yard. Don't worry about the roofs right now. Alright, well, we got the tower in and it is level. You can see. Wet the ground a little bit to make it sure it's compact. And once this dries real good, it should be pretty solid. I'm gonna go and put the grass back over. But next thing I'm going to do is mark off in the 3 directions where I'm going to have my guide wires and my guide posts. This way they're ready to go as soon as I'm ready to put up the sections. Let this dry a little bit. We had these poles laying around. Grab that pole, sweetheart. We only need 3 of them. And what we're going to basically do is drive these poles into the ground at an angle like this. And this will be what we can tie our guide ropes to once we get up to at least 30, 40 feet.
I got all of the poles up.
Good job. All right, so I don't want it to be straight up and down. I want it to be at an angle like this. And I need the mallet. Go ahead and drop those, sweetheart. Obviously, a bit of advice, as you can see, I've learned my lesson with trying to hammer in poles right with the mallet. Just get a piece of wood, strong piece of wood, and let the wood take the brunt. That's not going anywhere. Now what I'll do, you have a tendency that the rope to want to slip up on this pipe. So what I'll do is I'll get a self-tapping metal screw, or maybe even drill a hole through it to put a pin.
I have a screw.
You can't use that one. This way when you put the rope around it, tight, close to the ground where it's the strongest, it won't slip up. All right, so we got our 3 posts. 1, 2, and 3. And these are in here halfway, probably in there a good 12 inches at least, just over probably. We don't need that 3rd one, or the 4th one. As you can see, the ground's starting to dry a little bit too. Still a little wobbly, but that'll get us up there so we can guide down. So we got our temporary guides right now, just so I can get up to higher, and these will be coming off, and the ropes will be going up to the 40-foot mark to guide it down, so it's a little bit more secure. This will at least secure it so I can work on it and get it up higher. So let's go and lift this piece up, and I'll show you how I do that. Let's do this. Now it's going to be wobbly, but it's not going to go anywhere. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep my weight centered as much as possible. Ouch. So all the weight is right down instead of leaning out. Get to the top here. I'm gonna hook this guy to hold it. I'm gonna step up, and I got my safety rope here. So I'm gonna latch on. All right, obviously with these you've got 2 holes. Smallest set of holes takes 7/16 bolt. Bottom set takes 1/2 inch. And then on the top, on the bottom, because these are 2 tops here, this one, this section, you have the same hole. The tricky part, especially these old towers, is to get these 3 to line up. And you've got all the weight above you and you're balancing it. And then you've got to basically sit it on. Now these things aren't light, so it is a little tricky, but we're gonna do it. Luckily we'll only have to do this twice, for this piece and then the top section, so let's do it. Just keeping it balanced. And if you don't let them all go down at the same time, then you'll never get them on. So if you get one on, you're in trouble. You have to get all of them on at the same time. And I'm definitely leaning. Woo! So I'm going to shift my weight a little bit over to this side to kind of adjust for that lean. Now, when I put it up temporarily, I only put it in with the 1/2 inch bolts. If I was putting it in permanently, I'd go ahead and put in the 7/16 inch bolts as well. Alright, now obviously once we got them all in, just tighten them down. And unfortunately I don't have half inch sockets or wrenches, so I'm just going to have to use it. And when you tighten these down, especially when you're going to be taking them apart, if you tighten them down too much, you'll squeeze the pipe, which will make it nearly impossible to lift up, to take apart. So you want it tight, but you don't want it too tight. If you're putting it up permanently, crank down on these things, and that extra squeeze will actually help and strengthen the tower. Alright, so these are the ropes, the guide ropes that I'm going to have. They should be long enough, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to climb to the top of the tower as it sits now and get them tied off to that. So make some loops, so all I got to do is go up there and loop them. And hopefully these guys will be able to help me, or hold me, since the ground's still loose. One rope, two ropes, three ropes. Coming down. Alright, so I've got these. I don't know where these came from. Got these self-tapping screws. Basically what I'm doing is just putting them here, one on each side, to help keep the rope from pulling up. Alright, when I'm tying these ropes, I want to be able to tighten them at a later time without having to take them all off. So what I'm doing is, doing about, 2 feet or so. I'm just going to go ahead and tie a knot right here. Now obviously wire would be better, because wire doesn't stretch and give, and with weather and when it gets wet. But right now all I've got is rope. I might change it to wire a little later when I get to the store, but I can't leave it up without anything. So anyway, I've got my knot here. I'm gonna go down around this screw here. I'm gonna actually pull it pretty tight already. Okay, I'm gonna go underneath the screw on this side and then wrap around the rope. And that friction there will hold that, regardless of whatever kind of knot it is. Okay, again, underneath the knot, underneath the screws, and I'm actually going to go around the rope one more time. I'm hoping all this is in camera frame. And underneath the screw for the third time. Okay, so as you can see, hopefully here, went around the rope, around the pole, around the rope again, back around the pole. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and tie one knot around this rope but above this knot, and that is what's going to basically hold it. Alright, I'm going to make this second rope somewhat tight. It doesn't have to be super tight. Okay, now I've got these 2 strands that I can wrap. So the main rope is tight, but if I needed to tighten it, I'll just get a piece of stick in here and I'll start spinning. And I'll start spinning these ropes. And by twisting these ropes, it's actually making the main line tighter and tighter. The more I spin this, the tighter it'll get. So if I find that the tower's leaning one way or whatever, or if I need to do some fine tuning, I'll have the ability to tighten each rope individually that way, and then the excess will just probably stick in the pipe. And we got 10 more feet to go, or just 8 feet or so. Top section's a little shorter, but it's looking pretty good. and it's not going to block because the lower ring is going to be actually inside where the guides are, so it shouldn't block the house at all. And that's it. Like I said, I might change the rope out with wire, but that's what it's going to look like. Okay, first set of lights going up. Mark the date. What is it? October 25th. October 25th. First set of lights. What we're doing is we're using these red and green icicle lights, and they're going to be what highlights what I'm calling stripe this year. And we run all the way across here at that same level, and you're going to be on one channel. So we go ahead and put them up. And what I figure I'm going to do is there is get some finishing nails. I'm just going to tack them in at the top, make very small holes, and this way I can pull them out. I'm not going to hammer them in deep, just something to clip the wires to. So I say it every year, you want to be smart when you're putting up your Christmas lights. And what I mean by that is just keep in mind where you're going to be plugging these in. With me and my Lightorama show, I'm going to be running extension cord here to this spot. So here, I don't want the extension cord coming up at the front of the house. I want the extension cord to go up on the side so it looks better. So I'm going to be putting the female end and starting it here. Alright, and then going around. Now this is just a little bit here, so I'm going to have a lot of extra. And I'm just going to put it in probably a plastic bag or something and put it behind the trash cans. Now when I come to this side, I'm not sure exactly where my box is going to be yet. That's going to control this light. I'm going to put my female in here and run to the corner, and then I'm going to do the same thing over here because I don't want an extension cord. I don't want the male in here, so I'm going to run another female in from here over to there. And if I have extra, I can hide it in the corner, and most likely I'm going to plug it in, both of these in one spot. And then I'm going to do another female in here and probably continue it and just plug in the male on the other side. So you want to be smart and you want to be sensible. Think ahead when it comes to how your lights are going to look. You don't want a extension cord running or extra wire balled up here by the front door when where people are going to come and you know, when you're walking up to your door. So keep that in mind when you're starting to. The same thing goes with the eave work and things like that. Just be smart. And then sometimes you just luck out. From the garage, it ended right here. From the door, it ended right here. Enough to plug in. Maybe missing a strand, but no one's gonna ever see because it's back here behind this tree. So sometimes things work out this way. All right, done for the weekend anyway. Got the stripe done. Went ahead and put the plug here because chances are my box is gonna be right here or over there. So instead of having to run an extension cord from the end over here all the way over, I figured I'd put it there a little bit closer, but still didn't want it by the front door. Had to roll up some over here. Next week, I think I'm going to get up on the roof and just try to work on that. But we'll see. See you soon.